Great to see you too. We are preparing the stream. We're getting ready to go live here. And it's going to be a good one today. I'm excited. So last week we talked a bit about emotional sovereignty. And this week we're going to go into the three realms of emotional sovereignty. Oh, hold on a second. All right, there. It went live and then I heard myself talk. So, okay. So we're going to go into the three realms of emotional sovereignty, which is mind, body, and spirit. Um, so to help you kind of understand what these three realms of thought are and what emotional sovereignty is, emotional sovereignty is when we get the ability to really own our emotions and really be able to um, be in control of our own emotions, right? So we've got the mind, which is thought. We've got the body, which is the nervous system. And then we've got the spirit, which is our identity and purpose. And we're going to give you actionable tools today to reclaim the power in each one of those. I'm going to let you just say a few words here real quick while I go and post this out to Facebook. Jamie.
Say a few words. Me or Doug? I'm assuming it's me. But Doug, feel free to say a few words. Yeah. So to elaborate, mind, body, spirit. We have three different realms, so to speak, that when we have sovereignty in those three realms, emotionally, we have an overall emotional sovereignty. So emotional sovereignty is you are the ruler, you're the commander, you're the controller, you're the designer within the emotional state. The emotional state is a blend between the chemical and the physical. It's physically in the body, and yet it's a wave form of energy as well. So it blends into multiple realms, so to speak. And when we can look at both the physical, the body, the mind, the intellectual, the emotional, and the spirit, that which gives us passion, source, vibe, and what a lot of ancient cultures call the real source of who we are. That combination greatly affects our state of awareness within the physical. A lot of the time, imagine them as three different buckets, and when one bucket has a gaping hole in it, and we keep filling up the other two buckets, going, "Oh, I'm putting all this energy and effort in," we still feel a lack or something's not working in our life. It's because one of those buckets has a big gaping hole in it, and everything we're doing is just leaking out. So instead of pouring more into the two buckets that are overflowing, we want to look at patching that little hole in the bucket that's leaking, so less effort is required to create an overall sense of balance and sovereignty in the self.
Excellent. Exactly. I'm there we go. So most of us are walking around trying to manage our emotions with just our minds. We're trying to think our way out of anxiety or affirm our way out of sadness, or we even gaslight ourselves with toxic positivity. But emotions don't just live just in your mind. They live in your body and they shape your spirit. And real freedom, that comes when you become sovereign in all three of these realms that we're taking. So we're going to just take a deep breath here and then ask, which realm have you been ignoring? So we're going to the mind, the body, and the spirit. So the mind is mental sovereignty. This is our thoughts, are the stories we tell ourselves, the self-talk, the meaning making. We tend to make meaning out of everything. And that's where we kind of get into a little bit of trouble because we make meaning out of things that didn't maybe mean that. You know, a really great example of that is there was like a group of people, they were kind of hanging out and this lady looks over and this guy kept looking at her funny. He kept looking at her funny, he kept looking at her funny, and she's like, that guy doesn't like me. That guy doesn't like me. Oh my God, that guy doesn't like me. Well, that's the story she made up because in reality, what was happening was that guy was trying not to fart. And he was really embarrassed. He was in a crowd of people and he was just making a funny face because he was like, oh my God, I have to fart and I'm going to do this in public and this is really embarrassing. But we do that. We make up stories all the time around people on what somebody else's meaning. And it's always through our own filter of our own crap that we see other people, right?
Yeah,
So,
I get caught up in that. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling negative energy, like I'm at the gym or I'm in a room and I'm feeling this negative energy and or that kind of. I get those thoughts often, and I'm trying to whatever release them or conquer them somehow. But I totally get that.
yeah, so what Jamie and I do is we kind of try to make up stories that are in our favor, right? So it's like we can make up a story either way we want. So if someone's looking at us funny, rather than going, "Oh, that person doesn't like me," I go, "Oh, that person is just really embarrassed around me and is so intimidated by what a good person I am that they're just afraid to tell me." We can make up anything. We make it up anyway. We might as well make it up in our favor, right? So a lot of the symptoms of an emotional imbalance in the mind realm is overthinking, analysis paralysis, negative self-talk, creating stories based on fear, right? Rather than based on like life is happening for us instead of to us, right? Or assuming intent behind others' behavior. We assume their intent is against us rather than for us. But again, we can make up the story to the positive if we want to. Um, so the thought audit, so this is the tool that we can use for this. So start to create a journal when those come up for you, right? And what was the triggering situation? What story did I immediately tell myself? And is that story true or familiar? Right? Because if the story's kind of familiar, it might be based through a filter of some past experience that you're making that story up. Or maybe it's true, but try to stick to facts of what happened. Like once you write the triggering situation, what story did you immediately make up? Write that down. And then is the story true or familiar? But try to get just factual about it, right? Because it's like, even if you go read the news, go read a newspaper, it's really fascinating. Pull out anything that's not a fact, that's opinion, and the facts are very little. It's the story that they make up around it, right? So, and then you can reframe. So I've got a reframing prompt, and you guys can write this down. I noticed I'm telling myself the story that, and write whatever the story is. What if the truth is actually blank, right? So I noticed I'm telling myself the story that blank. What if the truth is actually blank? And then you can say out loud, and we can say it together out loud, I am the author of my inner dialogue. I'm the writer of my inner dialogue. I choose truth over trauma tales, because the tales we tell ourselves are all based on trauma. Most of us are based on past trauma. So then the second section is the body realm, or the somatic sovereignty. This is in the body. This is on our nervous system, our sensations, our trauma imprints, and our survival responses. So symptoms of imbalance in the body realm can be constant chronic tension, tight chest, stomach in knots, chronic illness, panic attacks or shutdowns, explosive anger or numbness, and reactivity or over responsiveness. So reactivity means we're reacting to the thing that just happened rather than responding. And what we went over last week was that emotional sovereignty is the pause between the thing that triggers you and the reaction. If you can take control of the pause, the thing that's in the middle of that, then we don't react. Instead, we respond from a different place than reaction, if that makes sense. But most of us have blown our lives up in some form or other by reacting instead of responding. So, we've got a 5-second nervous system reset. We're going to do it really quick right now. You're just going to place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. And we're going to inhale for 4 and exhale for 8. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. When you get into this situation, remember this. Remember inhaling for 4, exhaling for 8, and then name the sensation, like I feel heat in my chest, my hands feel hot, I feel butterflies in my stomach. Name the sensation, and then tell yourself, I am safe to feel this. I am safe to feel this. And then just move gently, like you can shake, you can sway, you can hum. Humming is really great. Humming, making sound. I'm safe to feel this. And allow that vibration to go down and through your body. I'm safe to feel this. And just move gently. Now you're not overreacting. Your nervous system is remembering. Somatic sovereignty means giving your body new evidence that it's safe now. That's somatic sovereignty. Giving your body new evidence that it's safe now. So the quick mini practice on this is today I give my body permission to feel, release, and return to peace. I give my body permission to feel, to release, and return to peace. So then we've got the third section. The third section is the spirit realm. This is energetic and identity sovereignty. The focus here is on our beliefs, our alignment, our soul values, and our emotional purpose. So symptoms of imbalance in the spirit realm is like feeling lost or disconnected from yourself, letting others define your worth, living for approval instead of living in alignment, and emotions that feel like they don't belong to you. This might be ancestral emotions, like that were maybe imprinted on your DNA. And if you want to deep dive into that further, you can go to jamiehoney.com for that. Or observe. Do you have anything to say about ancestral?
Not not specific, yet a lot of the time we feel a certain way and we don't know where it's coming from. And we logically are trying to find it, and logically we can't find it because the source is coded in our DNA from an ancestral experience. And thoughts are coded in our DNA. That's why most people in the world are afraid of the dark. They're hyper alert during those moments when it's dark because their ancestors that were afraid of the dark survived what was in the dark to get them. Those that weren't afraid of the dark got taken. So that trait of being afraid of the dark, little kids pretty much all around the world are the same because it's coded in our DNA from generation to generation, from thousands of years for the human organism. Yet there are things that our great grandparents or our great 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 grandparents emotionally thought or believed that's coded just in our DNA lineage. And it may have been an emotional service to them 100 years ago or 150 years ago, yet our life is different. We have communication devices in our home. We don't have a carrier pigeon. We have a cell phone. So the way our life is now is different to what it was for our ancestors, yet we may still be carrying a limiting belief or a restriction or an emotional response to stimuli in the now that's actually created in the past from our ancestors. And then we in this going, why is stuff just not working for me? I'm doing every single thing the coach is telling me, and other people are getting success and I'm not, because you're carrying a subconscious inherited belief that you don't even know is holding you back. And I've seen that. I mean, I've seen that in hundreds and hundreds of people around the world.
Exactly. So, um, so the sovereign identity statement is I am not my emotion. I am the one experiencing it. So when you're feeling that emotion, I am not this emotion. I'm the one experiencing it. It gives you a little bit of separation. And this is actually what Jamie did when he had a stroke in Mexico. He didn't say, I had a stroke. He said, my body had a stroke. Was able to separate himself from the situation enough that he was able to heal from that stroke in 8 days. It was pretty incredible. It was pretty incredible. He was back about 95%, super quick, from 2 strokes and like major parts of his brain gone. It was incredible. So the second statement is I get to choose how I integrate this. I get to choose how I integrate this. And then what is this emotion teaching me about who I truly am? What is this emotion teaching me about who I truly am? And then you're going to write yourself a sovereign statement. And you feel free to write this down. I am a person who feels deeply and I channel my emotions into, and then you create what you want: truth, boundaries, creation, healing, whatever. However you want to channel those emotions into, you're going to state it. So I'm a person who feels deeply and I channel my emotions into self-healing. That's me. I am a person who feels deeply and I channel my emotions into truth, whatever you want. Okay. And then the spiritual reframe is what if your emotions are not obstacles, but invitations to return you home to your true self? I'm going to say that one more time. What if your emotions are not obstacles, but invitations to return you home to your true self? Pretty incredible. So then, we've got a little affirmation here. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can copy and paste it. And you've got to be on Zoom for this. So if you want to join us on Zoom, go to toxicmindfield.com and sign up. Okay, so it is mind, body, and spirit. I bring all three into alignment. I no longer outsource my peace. I no longer fight what I feel. I am emotionally sovereign in every realm I live. And you can just copy and paste that from the chat. So I'm going to invite you guys to pick one realm this week and focus on reclaiming this week and post your commitment somewhere, like next time you come, or post it in the chat right now what you commit to. And then here's a couple journal prompts if you want. Which realm feels strongest for me? Which one feels most neglected? And what would it look like to be emotionally sovereign in all three? And then we'll close with a quick little meditation, and then we'll do some personal healing on those that want to stay after we drop off the live. So go ahead and put both feet flat on the floor. Uncross your body, uncross your arms, uncross your legs. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And then exhale slowly. Again, inhale through your nose and hold. Exhale through your mouth. Feel the ground beneath you. And let your body be held by gravity and by this moment. Now bring your awareness to your mind. Imagine a gentle light surrounding your head, and let that light soften your thoughts. And say quietly, I choose thoughts that serve my peace. Now move your awareness to your body and place a hand on your heart and one on your belly. And breathe into your belly here. Take a deep breath in all the way down into your belly, and a deep breath out. And say to yourself, I'm safe to feel. I am safe to be. Now, finally, bring your awareness to your spirit. This is the you that watches all of this. This is the deeper presence beneath it all. And say, I am not my emotion. I am not my emotion. I am the witness. I am the wisdom. I am not my emotion. I am the witness. I am the wisdom. Okay, let's take one last breath together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale peace. And exhale power. Oof. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Awesome. Any thoughts on that before we jump off the live? Go into healing?
Very good. Deep breathing is very good in any situation. If you can get into the habit when something is more stressful to go, I'm feeling tense, or I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling anxious, or anything other than lighthearted joy, go, oh, a deep breath will help. And take a slow, deep breath in through the nose, and doing that 4-8 count that Amy talked about earlier. So take a slow, deep breath in through the nose, and then a slow, controlled exhale out the mouth. Just one breath in a moment where you're getting heightened negative emotion will greatly change that experience. It'll take you out of the freeze, fight, flight response and a survival mechanism into a more conscious of what do I really want in life thought process. So yeah, it is powerful just to take some deep breaths. Learning how to do that is highly beneficial in any situation.
Very good. Excellent. So we will go ahead. I'm going to stop streaming. If you'd like to join us, will you mute real quick so I'm not echoing? Thank you. If you'd like to join us, you can join us at toxicmindfield.com, and we're going to drop off the live, and you have to be on the Zoom in order to get any of the extra bonus stuff that we do. We do it free every single week. Right now, Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us every week. And then if you would like to go deeper into some of these concepts, you can go to jamiehoney.com, and you can sign up there with Jamie if you want any extra deep